Hi, this session will guide you on how to do the purchasing process. So in SAP Business One on cloud, the purchasing or procurement process covers a set of activities related to the acquisition of, as well as payment for goods and services. The activities involved in the purchasing process include the following. First, the determination of what needs to be purchased, the purchasing activities. Third, the receipt of goods, and the last one is the payment to suppliers. So the procurement process involves 4 stages. So we have the first 3 stages that are part of the purchasing accounts payable module. First, the purchase order. Next, the goods receipt purchase order. And the third one is the AP invoice. And under the banking module, the outgoing payments is the last step in the procurement process and completes the said process. So what happens during the purchasing process? So first is the creation of the purchase order. And this particular document is used to request the item or good or service from our vendor. It will also affect the available stock quantity of our vendor by committing that particular item requested in their inventory. The second stage is the goods receipt purchase order. And in this stage, the buyer in our the buyer is able to receive the items from our vendor. And when we have the GRPO, it increases the actual stock quantity level. The third stage in the purchasing process is the creation of the accounts payable invoice. And in SAP Business One, the AP invoice is the only mandatory document in the purchasing process. Why? Because we can create an AP invoice without creating a purchase order and even a GRPO. And the last stage in the purchasing process is the creation of an outgoing payment. And when we create this particular document, an appropriate journal entry is created. So let's have a recap of these various purchasing documents. So again, in the purchase order, it is a document used to request items or services from our vendor. The goods receipt purchase order is created when we're able to receive the goods or items from our vendor. The AP invoice is created because it is a request for payment, and it also records the costs in the profit and loss statement or the income statement of the company. And the last document is the outgoing payment, which is basically used to pay the money we owe to the vendor for the goods and services they render. One important thing to be considered on when doing the purchasing process is how we link all documents previously discussed. So it is important to link all these documents because creating the link will establish connections between and among the documents. And it will also help the organization to one way or another create or form a paper trail. This paper trail will actually help anyone concerning the organization to track the progress of each given step or of each given stage. And thus, in the SAP Business One, we can link these purchasing documents by creating what we call as the relationship. So let's try doing the purchasing process. So we'll be using the same data from the master data available. So to start with the purchasing process, let's open the purchasing AP module. So once you click the purchasing AP module, a drop-down list will be shown to you and we'll be first selecting the first document in the standard or smooth purchasing process, which is the purchase order. When opening this document, also remember that it is always in its add mode. So first, let's try adding our vendor. So you can click this drop down list and look for your vendor. In my case, my vendor, the ST00BN1000, and click choose. Once you're able to select your vendor, the next part of the process is going to the body of this marketing document. And in this part of the content, double click or single click will do as well. And click this button and look for the item you added in the inventory or in the master data. So since I created two items here, I'll be selecting both of the items by clicking the shift key or by holding the shift, then click choose. So let's just put 10 for both items. Since we have now the vendor, we have the items, the quantity of the items, all we have to do is to add the document. Okay, so again, a notification will be shown to you stating that you successfully added or complete this particular operation. Okay, so let's close for now the purchase order. And again, let's open the purchase order. So to easily access the recent purchase order you created, just access the toolbar and click the last data record. Okay, so once you're able to open the newly created purchase order, the next step is to forward this particular document to the next document. So look into the lowest and rightmost part of the document and click copy to. So the next document in the purchasing process is the GRPO. So copy to GRPO. So the GRPO document will automatically be open, and as you can see, it is already populated by the details we created previously using the purchase order. So nothing to do here. All you have to do is to add the document. Okay, so let's close GRPO and our purchase order. So let's open our GRPO. So same, click last data record. And this time, let's move this GRPO to the next document, and that is our AP invoice. So as you can see in this particular document, if you look into the remarks, it is based on the previously created purchase order and the previously created GRPO. So nothing to change right for now. So let's just add the document. Okay, now we're down to the last stage, and it's under the banking module. So let's open the banking, and this time, since it is a purchasing process, we have to select outgoing payments. So first thing to do in this outgoing payments is to select the vendor that we have transact with. So click this one and look for your vendor. So as you can see, you have a remaining balance in this said vendor. Click choose, and we have this document number that we have to settle or complete. So all you have to do is to click this one, and don't add the document yet. Okay. So the next thing to do in this outgoing payment is to access what kind of payment will be used in this transaction. So we can access the toolbar and select payment means, or on the white area of the document, we can do right click and select payment means. So automatically, part of our payment means is cash. And we're going to pull out the fund from our general ledger account. So for now, let's select petty cash, and the code is 160000 and click choose. So before clicking OK, make sure in this particular empty cell, click, right click, and copy balance due. So once done, click OK. And nothing to do here now. Nothing to do here anymore. So let's just add the document. Okay, so let's close the outgoing payments. So how to check if we're able to successfully complete the purchasing process? So let's open the purchasing module, and let's look for the first document we created, and that is the purchase order. So same, last data record. And on the white area of this particular marketing document, right click, then click relationship map. If you properly completed the purchasing process, you will have this look of your relationship map, including the purchase order, the GRPO, the AP invoice, and outgoing payments. So let's try to look the current inventory level of the item we just recently purchased. So let's open inventory, item master data, and look for the items we just recently purchased. So by doing the purchasing process, we are increasing the stock level. And in our case, the item 1000 and the item 1001 increase by 10. And therefore, that completes the purchasing process.